Wow, that tornado looks to be kind of like a drill bit tornado. That's what it's really digging into the surface like you just saw. All right, let's talk a little bit about our developing stories. At 14 minutes past, we'll talk about the air quality impact on Alberta and the prairies. 24 minutes past, Atlantic Canada way above seasonal. We'll show you how hot and sticky they are, and also the prairies, which we'll talk about right now, could be getting into some storms today. All because of this warm sector with this area of low pressure. We have a lot of heat and instability, and then a cold front is going to work its way through the southeastern parts of Saskatchewan are probably going to be the hardest hit in terms of severe weather. Large hail, strong winds won't rule out the chance of a tornado. Lots of energy in the atmosphere. Severe thunderstorm watch is in place, as you can see. And there I mentioned from Yorkton down towards the extreme southern eastern part of the province. And then Brandon, you're included. This is the last thing that these areas need. It's more rainfall, wind, any kind of active weather is not good for these flood-stricken areas. So here we go. This is a look at the thunderstorm risk moving ahead into your Friday to kick off the weekend. It'll all be non-severe in nature. On Tuesday, yeah, that guy got struck. Watch that again. Oh, very, very dangerous when you're outside and there's lightning danger. Of course, we all know that, but you've heard the saying, well, you know, I have a better chance of being struck by lightning. It does happen, and it happened to him. That was in Colorado. All right. Speaking of Colorado, we're going to be watching a developing low coming out of the Four Corner states, and we're seeing a little bit of that energy here on our cloud tops right now. Also watching this developed area of low pressure up in the prairies with a trailing cold front that's going to work its way down through southeastern Saskatchewan. We do have a severe weather risk there for some strong thunderstorms, potential for heavy downpours, strong winds, and even large hail as well. Quiet on the west coast, beautiful into the east coast finally, and temperatures are really hot and sticky. We have temperatures feeling like the upper 30s. We have a water spout watch for some areas of the Great Lakes, including the southern parts of Lake Erie. So heads up if you're in that area. Boating is certainly not a good day to be out doing that if you have a water spout watch. Tornado, third one of the season. Confirmed it was an EF1. It had winds of 150 kilometers per hour just near Quebec City. That's awesome. I laugh so hard at those. You know what? I know that they're the same thing. They're not any different. But, you know, someone that would be on the street, you're just kind of caught by Chris May. Yeah, I could see. I don't know. All right, it's funny stuff. Severe thunderstorm watch is in effect right now from just south of Calgary down through Lethbridge and into Milk River. We could be seeing non-severe thunderstorms there. The more severe threat will be out ahead of this cold front. So that's going to be east of Regina. That's going to be in areas like Oxbow and Estevan, and then into Manitoba as well as that cold front pushes east into the overnight, though, so we'll lose a lot of that thunderstorm potential because we'll start to lose daytime heating, the surface cools, and tend to see less severe storms when that happens. High pressure builds in behind it. We're going to see a nice weekend for many and finally starting to dry things out behind that system. But let's take you to Manitoba where, yes, the state of emergency still continuing. Today, this is a look at the river basins. Of course, it's been the Assiniboine and the Red that have been, I guess, most concerned lately was the Assiniboine cresting. Yesterday, it's just an ongoing situation. If you want to learn more about this, too, you can also go to our website. We have a ton of literature there, a ton of info about the latest on the floods. Let's take you to this now. Severe thunderstorm watch in effect for those same areas that I mentioned, that severe risk right in the southeastern parts of Saskatchewan and in the western flank of Manitoba, so including you, Brandon. And again, that's the last thing these folks need is more rainfall. We really want to dry things out. It won't start, though, until we get into the weekend. That system will push to the east, Pickle Lake, Big Trout Lake, all the way down to Fort Francis in northwestern Ontario. It is going to be non-severe thunderstorm risk. All right, take a look at this. It was a landslide.
Thanks so much. Well, Margot Morin and I are here at the Calgary Stampede behind the scenes at the Chuck Wagon Barns. Now, we found out a lot of things going on here today, but one important thing we wanted to talk about. Tell us about it, Margot.
Well, it's this guy right here. Ray Coto Jr. is doing something amazing on Twitter using the hashtag Chucks4Bucks. You need to find a picture on Twitter of his rainbow-colored Chuck Wagon, retweet that using that hashtag, and $1 for every retweet is getting donated to the Sheldon Kennedy Child Advocacy Center. That's awesome stuff, right?
It's great. So at Margot Morin, at Deb Matiechka, at Weather Network, you can find the picture there. We've all tweeted it already, so let's all contribute to this great cause.
All right, I got to go tweet it out right now. Thanks, ladies, coming to us from the Stampede. It's nice to see them hanging out together in their cowboy hats. All right, here's the temperatures for the Stampede this afternoon. 23 degrees in Calgary, absolutely gorgeous. Vancouver, 25, and even going to get warmer as the week goes on into the weekend. Winnipeg, nice and sticky, 27. Toronto, a little bit cooler. The last few days have been refreshing for many. Montreal and right to the East Coast, anywhere from about 23 to 26. But out in Newfoundland, you're seeing humidex values into the 30s, so really hot and sticky. And high temperatures on Wednesday, very mild. Calgary was up at 30, but Osoyoos at 36.7. So yeah, high pressure really locking into place. Most of that humidity now is into Manitoba today, and also southeastern Saskatchewan, and that's where all of our instability is in the atmosphere. Partly just because of that heat and what we call CAPE and different energies that we look for into the atmosphere. But now we have a trigger, and that's the cold front. So that's going to lift out ahead all of that moist, unstable air. We're going to see some thunderstorms. We could see some severe thunderstorms in the southeastern parts of Saskatchewan along the western side of Manitoba border. So Brandon to maybe say Estevan or maybe Oxbow, those regions. So keep it here at the Weather Network. We will take you through that every step of the way, and make sure you have your smartphone for information as well. Bathurst, look at this. 30 degrees on your Wednesday. Halifax at 23.9. Not quite as warm, but as you go into Newfoundland, that's where the heat is this afternoon. Feeling like 34 for St. John's. Feeling like 36 for Sydney. Wow, you don't see that very often out there. This afternoon, if we go to Newfoundland, 35 for Gander, 34 for St. John's, and Buchan's at 35. Port aux Basques still at 16 degrees. That's because of that onshore flow with the colder ocean temperatures. All right, we're going to talk a little bit more about the forest fire situation in northern parts, northeast of the United States. Pardon me, this is New York, and look at the damage. Look at the trees down. This is what was reported and confirmed. So Syracuse had a microburst. Ohio had 3 EF1 tornadoes move through, and then I think it's Montmagny EF1. That's the latest Canadian report of a tornado. And then Smithfield, New York, had its deadliest tornado in state history. I think the latest, 4 killed in that tornado. So very close to Ontario. Obviously, the Quebec one is in our own backyard. But it just goes to show you, that when we talk about severe weather risks, it is a real thing. It does happen. We'll talk a little bit more about this risk behind me.